So you're probably thinking the title is clickbait because most people would never be able to make that much money in their entire lifetime of playing Skyblock. And I'm saying that you can get this much money in a day? Well, the title isn't clickbait, but there are a few catches that come with this. So the main catch with this method is that you need to have about 4.3 mil to actually use this method, because otherwise you won't be able to afford the items that this method constitutes. But this also means that if you have a lot of money, this will actually be even easier and more efficient for you. So now the method. The method itself actually uses something that's pretty old and actually slightly well known, but for some reason still results in a pretty big profit. But before the video starts, please consider subscribing to support the channel. It helps out a lot, and it's basically the best way for us to know that you guys do enjoy these videos. So if this video helps you at all, or you just enjoy it, please consider subscribing to show your support, or if you just want to be notified of when I upload. And back to the video. Similarly to my last video, I talked about how Ultimate Wise Books can result in a lot of profit. And this video also uses Ultimate Wise Books to make a lot of profit. The way they do this is by taking multiple Ultimate Wise Books and combining them until you get an Ultimate Wise 5 book and selling it for a profit. As I said, this method is very well known, and I'm pretty surprised that no one has actually made this much money off it, because I already made over 1 million coins using this method, and it was my first time trying it, and I didn't actually think I would make any coins. So because most people don't actually have 50 million or even 100 million to spend on Ultimate Wise Books, I'll first show you guys the method using only about 4 mil and showing how long it would take to buy 16 Ultimate Wise Books, then enchant it, and then sell it. But I will also show, if you have a lot of money, that you can buy a bunch of Ultimate Wise Books and do one big enchanting session later, and it will be much more efficient. So I'll be starting off with about 10 million coins, and by the end of it, we'll see how much profit we made from this method. So now that I've fully completed making the book and even selling it on the AH, you can see how much money I ended up using. I actually used some grand potions that I had from my enchanting session, because I'm going for enchanting 50, but to show that you actually make profit even when buying those enchanting bottles, I actually rebought all of the stacks I used, so I didn't actually get any enchanting XP for free. And you can see that I've resulted in about 5.7 mil, which, as you can see, is pretty hefty amount, meaning I used about 4.3 mil of my 10 mil that I had. But if we then look at the AH where we sold this, you can see that this goes for 5.5 mil. And after collecting this auction, you can see that we made 1.2 mil, because we started with 10 mil and now we have 11 mil and 200k. So this seems like a pretty good method, especially since it only took me about 10 minutes to even buy the books and then enchant it. So if you can make this a little bit faster, you can probably do this and make a load of money. So from this, you should be able to see that I can make 1.2 mil in 10 minutes pretty easily. But can this actually make you about 50 mil in a day? And the answer is yes. So basically what I did to show you this is that I got 100 mil and I put it all into getting Ultimate Wise Books and Grand Potions. So I'm gonna go and buy all these Ultimate Wise Books and get all these Grand Potions, and I'll get back to you later. So now if you look in this chest, you can see that I got a full double chest of Ultimate Wise Books. And if you look behind me, I have multiple double chests full of Ultimate Wise Books, almost 6 full, and this should get me about 23 Ultimate Wise 5 books. And then I have this double chest of grants and a few more here, and this should allow me to enchant all of these books. So now we'll see how long it actually takes for me to enchant all of these items. So while this time lapse is playing, I'll be discussing a few points about the enchanting process. So the first thing is that you should get yourself an experience potion. Doesn't really matter the rarity, but obviously the higher the better, and preferably brewed with the Vikings tier. Second thing is that it's gonna take you about 1 hour to actually enchant everything. This shouldn't differ based on player that much, but around 52 minutes to an hour is basically where I would think it would take you to do this. And then lastly, the last point you need to know is that prices will be different based on player. Because I have an enchanting level of 41, it's cheaper for me, but I'd say it's negligible, like 10k more or 10k less per book. So other than that, everything else should be as it seems. So after putting the first batch of books up, and most of them have actually sold. So if you go on the AH, I actually have 47 million with 9 of them actually being sold. So basically you can see how much money I have left, and I'm gonna claim all of these. I have 50 mil now. And now I should be able to fit the last few of these Ultimate Wise books on the AH, and then we'll see when they're sold, and then we can look at how much profit we made. So there's actually a problem that I've come up with and that has actually affected this process, and it's kind of my own doing. Basically I released a video and it caused prices of Ultimate Wise to crash. That's all you really need to know. And now prices of Ultimate Wise dropped from about 260k to about, let's say, something around 200k to 160k. I even bought a book after this price crash has happened. And this is not a good thing for me because this reflects in the Ultimate Wise 5 price. And while it's still profitable if you buy the Ultimate Wise books now and craft it, it isn't profitable compared to the old price. So luckily I sold a lot of them for still a pretty decent price, but there's been like 2 or 3 that I've been selling for these new prices, which are pretty bad. So to make up for these, I actually just bought a few more books and crafted a few more just to bring up the profits to something I'd get more usually. And after doing the calculations with the new prices, it should still work just as good. So I just bought like maybe 25 Ultimate Wise instead of selling 23 that I was previously. I made 2 more and I'm selling 25 in total. So finally, we've actually finished selling all the books and we can see how much profit we made. So one thing you'll notice is that I have more money in my purse than I had before. The reason for this is because I claimed a few books by accident early. So that's why my purse is a little bit bigger than usual. And now if I go and you can see that all of these sold, we click this, you can see we're going to be getting about 58 million coins. And you can see we got 117 million. So this means that we profited 17 million coins. So why did I get 17 mil and not 50 mil? So there's basically 2 main reasons. First of all, I will usually get half of 50 mil, basically 25 mil, because then I do the cycle again and that's how I get my 50 mil. And then the second reason is because of the changes in prices due to my video, which caused me to not make as much profit as I should have. And we remember that at the beginning of the video, I talked about how I got 1.2 mil from 1 book. And because we did 23 books, that should mean that I got 25 mil from this setup and then multiply that by a second cycle, and that gets you 50 mil. So the only other big catch is that it actually takes quite a bit of time for these to all sell. And other than that, it's not really that big of a deal. But just because Ultimate Wise is not as popular as before, it takes a little longer to sell than usual. But other than that, this is still a great money making method. This will seem a little bit egotistical, but I don't think this money making method will work in the first few days of uploading for the general public. And the reason for this is mainly just because of what I've seen in my own videos. I don't actually think I'm this big of an influence like some of the huge YouTubers like 30, but I've just seen that whenever I talk about something in a video, it tends to change to the market. And I don't know if it's me, it could just be a really big coincidence that's been happening a lot, but just to play it safe, you guys might not be able to profit off of this method. So I'd recommend you do some calculations before trying, because I don't know if it will still work when this video is uploaded. But there are a few things that you can actually do that are very similar to this method that can make you just as much money. So if this is not working for you with Ultimate Wise, all you have to do is just look for another enchanted book and see if it works for that. I'm not going to name any books specifically, but I know that you will be able to easily find out what type of books I'm talking about. And if you start doing it with that, I've heard that it can be even better, but you might have to spend either more time on buying or maybe more time on enchanting. So make sure to weigh the risks and which you enjoy doing more before actually going and buying all these books. Other than this, the only other thing you can really do is basically just wait for the video to become a little bit older while people forget about it, the method is not used as much, and then you can sweep in and use the method when people have forgotten about it. That's basically your only bet then, and usually this actually works. So while you're waiting, maybe go to some of my old money making method videos and use those, because usually most of them are actually working. And yeah, so this is basically the end of the video. I took quite a bit of time to actually put this out because selling the books was kinda a nightmare for me, but hopefully this video actually does help you make some money. I hope it doesn't die instantly. I really hope you guys can make some money off it, and goodbye.